Leo, someone named S is silently disrupting your mind and your money, and you need to know why before November 24th arrives. That's not said for dramatic effect. It's said because the energy in your field right now is shifting in subtle but dangerous ways. You might not see it, but you're already feeling it, the fog in your focus, the hesitation in your decisions, the way something just seems off even though nothing obvious has changed. That feeling? It's not your imagination. It's not stress. It's a signal. And the reason you're here, watching this now, isn't a coincidence. It's because deep down, part of you already knows this pattern has returned disguised as something familiar, pulling your energy toward places you've already outgrown. Leo, I want to welcome you to this space with warmth, not fear. This is not about predicting disaster. It's about helping you recognize the moment you're in, so you don't repeat what no longer serves you. Because from November 22nd to 24th, something is aligning in your timeline, something quiet, but powerful. And it's entering through a name. Through a vibration. Through S. This might be a person from your past. Or it might not be a person at all, but a behavior, a belief, or an emotional frequency that once had power over you. The danger is, it doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't push. It blends in. It speaks in your own voice. And that's exactly why it's so hard to catch. What you're dealing with isn't just distraction. It's a shift in your internal compass, just a few degrees at first, but enough to take you off your true path if you don't notice it. And when your money starts acting strange, when your confidence starts to dip, when opportunities feel more confusing than exciting, that's the sign. That's the hum of old energy trying to reattach itself. And here's the truth, Leo. You're not here to chase clarity. You're here to hold it. To remember who you are when you're not reacting, not proving, not explaining, just standing. In your signal. In your stillness. In your truth. So let me just say this, thank you. Thank you for showing up to this moment. Thank you for giving yourself the space to listen. Every like, every comment, every time you share or subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness, it doesn't just support this channel, it deepens your alignment with a community that sees you. And more importantly, it brings you closer to the version of you that no longer entertains what used to distract you. Leo, I know you're strong. I know you're loyal. But now, the universe is asking if you're willing to be silent long enough to hear the truth under the noise. It's not always about fighting back. Sometimes, the most powerful move is not responding at all. And I promise you, what's unfolding in this energy window isn't here to test your strength. It's here to confirm your growth. Stay with me until the end. What we're about to uncover together may explain why you've been feeling off, and more importantly, how to shift it. Leave a comment below to confirm that you're tuned in and ready. Say it out loud if you have to, I'm holding my frequency and only what matches me may enter. Let's begin. Sometimes, Leo, the past doesn't come back wearing the same clothes. It slips in differently, quietly, subtly, through a scent, a phrase, a pattern that feels oddly comfortable. And before you realize it, something that once delayed your growth has begun to circle your field again. The S in your story might not just be a person. It might be a symbol, a trigger that reawakens an old rhythm, an energy loop that once took root in your decisions. Maybe it's the way you second-guess yourself when something new arrives. Maybe it's the urge to play small, to delay your expansion for the sake of someone else's comfort. Maybe it's the moment you reach for safety instead of alignment. Whatever S is for you, it's not new. It's known. And that's what makes it so powerful. See, in astrology, energy moves in spirals. What isn't healed will orbit back not to punish you, but to ask, have you finally outgrown this? It may look different, sound different, but the feeling is the same. That slight hesitation when making a decision. That subtle inner voice that sounds like yours but isn't coming from clarity, it's coming from fear dressed in nostalgia. This is what makes the return of the signal so tricky. You might not notice it because it's not loud. It's familiar. And familiarity often wears the mask of truth. This week, that mask is beginning to slip. The fog you've been sensing is not confusion, it's the energy of an old agreement resurfacing. And if you're not present with it, you may unconsciously sign that contract all over again. Not on paper, but in your actions. In your silence. In your willingness to let a fragment of the old version of you make decisions on behalf of the new one. But Leo, you're not here to rehearse your past. You're here to rewrite it, with your hands on the pen this time. What I've learned after working with hundreds of energy fields and navigating my own is that these moments are never about blame. They're about presence. You don't need to fight the signal. You only need to see it. With compassion. With stillness. With the awareness that your frequency now has the strength to hold shape, even when the pull of the past returns in seductive form. And this is where your power lies. Not in reacting, but in recognizing. Not in pushing away, but in choosing what gets to stay. Because when you truly see what S is, whether it's a person, a behavior, a wound, you begin to reclaim the space it once occupied in your field. You begin to soften the impact of its echo. This softening, Leo, is a form of healing that doesn't come with fanfare. It comes in the quiet moments. In the breath before you respond. In the decision to no longer chase what no longer feeds you. In choosing peace over proving. In trusting that your stillness is more effective than your explanations. In many ways, this is how the Word of God has always worked in my own healing journey, not through force, but through a quiet presence that reminded me I was never alone, even when I felt most vulnerable. That kind of stillness teaches you that you don't have to earn peace, you only have to return to it. So as this signal begins to reappear, do not be afraid of what it represents. Instead, become curious. Ask yourself, where have I seen this before? And what version of me once said yes to it? Because the version of you standing here today has choices that past you didn't. You have clarity. You have tools. And you have time. Use them. And if at any point you feel tempted to go back, to shrink, to explain, pause. Place your hand over your heart and say, that no longer belongs to me. That sentence alone can change the course of your energy. So tell me in the comments if you felt something circling back lately, something gentle, but persistent. Call it out. That's how you interrupt the loop. That's how you stay sovereign. Because awareness isn't just the beginning of transformation, Leo, it is transformation. When you find yourself standing at a crossroads, Leo, and the options in front of you all shimmer with possibility but leave you strangely unsettled, that's when you need to pause. Not everything that glows is gold, and not every instinct you feel is coming from the clearest part of you. This week's energy speaks exactly to that space, the one between desire and delusion, intuition and interference. The cards drawn for this cycle aren't just archetypes from an old deck. They are mirrors. Reflections of what's quietly moving inside your emotional and energetic field. The moon appears first, and with it comes the fog, the soft veil that makes things look dreamy but distorts their shape. It's the card of deep emotion, illusion, and subtle truths hiding beneath surfaces. You feel something, but you can't quite name it. And in that not knowing, the mind starts filling in the blanks with fear, fantasy, or both. Then comes the Seven of Cups, a card that pulls your attention in too many directions. It shows you choices, but not clarity. It's the energy of temptation. Distraction disguised as opportunity. This is where you might feel yourself pulled toward things that look good on paper but don't feel rooted in your body. You want to trust your instinct, and normally you do, but right now, that instinct may not be as clean as you think. That's because it's been overlaid with echoes. With static. With a signal that's not entirely yours anymore. And that brings us to the Magician reversed. This is where the manipulation shows up, not from others, necessarily, but from within. The reversed magician is a master of cleverness without clarity. It's the part of your mind that knows exactly what to say to justify a decision that's not aligned. It's where your own internal narrative becomes slippery. Where the story you tell yourself is shaped more by fear of missing out than faith in your own pace. Overlay that with current astrology, and it gets even more layered. With the moon conjoining Neptune, your psychic field is being stirred. This isn't just imagination, it's emotional memory being awakened by cosmic tides. Neptune dissolves boundaries, and when it blends with the moon, it can wash away your ability to tell whether your feelings are yours, or borrowed from somewhere else. Add Saturn retrograde in your financial zone, and now you're not just confused emotionally, you're also vulnerable to old money habits resurfacing. The urge to commit too fast. The impulse to spend emotionally. The fear that tells you this opportunity won't come again, even when your gut says to wait. So here's the truth, Leo. You're not broken. You're just surrounded by noise. And the decisions you're making now or being tempted to make might not be rooted in the present version of you. They might be whispers from a version you've already outgrown. The part of you that still feels like they have to prove something. Or chase something. Or say yes so you don't miss out, even when your body is saying, no. This is why presence matters more than ever. This is why stillness isn't just self-care, it's self-protection. Because when you pause long enough to hear what's underneath the noise, you reconnect with the frequency of truth. And that frequency is steady. It doesn't rush. It doesn't chase. It doesn't twist to fit in. So ask yourself, is this voice guiding me forward? Or is it pulling me back into an old story I've already survived? Let me know in the comments if this energy feels familiar, not just from this week, but from somewhere deeper in your timeline. Awareness is powerful. When you speak it, you break the spell. You step out of the fog. You start moving from alignment again. That's when the right decisions become clear, not because you forced them, but because the noise finally faded, and your true voice could finally be heard. You don't always need to fight, roar, or explain yourself, Leo. Sometimes, your greatest strength is in your silence. Not the kind of silence that hides, but the kind that holds. In this phase of your journey, the invitation is not to push harder, but to step back and observe. When you feel old energy rising, familiar tension in your chest, familiar frustration in your thoughts, or a familiar person who brings back confusion, you don't have to engage. You don't even have to react. You only need to stay rooted in your center. Every time you respond from impulse, you activate the same loop that once drained your power. But when you pause even for a breath, you create a new space. A new direction. A new code for your energy field. That's what I mean when I say your choices are more than decisions. They're frequencies. And each frequency you hold either invites alignment or calls back the old chaos. Let's keep this real for a moment. I've worked with people at every stage of healing, and I've been through enough personal storms to know, we often think healing means being able to explain why we're not choosing what's familiar anymore. But the truth is, real growth happens when you don't explain anything because your field already speaks for itself. There's nothing to prove when your energy no longer emits the signal that used to attract the very thing you're trying to leave behind. Staying in your frequency means trusting your rhythm more than their reaction. It means letting go of the need to control the outcome and instead focusing on how your energy is showing up moment by moment. This is the kind of clarity that doesn't yell. It doesn't beg. It simply holds. And anything not in harmony with it slowly fades out, not because you forced it to leave, but because it no longer knows how to stay. If you're wondering what this actually looks like in daily life, here's how you anchor it. Start every morning with 4-4-4 breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4. This isn't just breath work, it's a way to reprogram your nervous system and recalibrate your frequency. Before you check your phone, check your body. Scan for energy leaks. If there's a name or message that tightens your chest or clouds your clarity, give yourself permission not to open it. Not today. Then, take a blank page and write down 3 things you no longer want to feed with your energy. It could be a thought pattern, a person, a role you've been playing out of obligation. Put it on paper so your field knows you're serious. When you write it down, you release it from your energetic system. And when you stop feeding something, it stops feeding on you. The truth is, Leo, you're not responsible for managing what doesn't align. You're only responsible for managing your own signal. And the more consistently you hold that signal, the more naturally the right people, opportunities, and experiences rise to meet you. There's no need to slam the door on anything. You don't need to block, argue, or convince. Just stop responding. Just stop reaching. Just stop retelling stories that aren't yours anymore. Stillness is not weakness, it's power choosing where to go. You're not closing yourself off. You're simply becoming so clear that only what resonates can stay. Let your stillness speak. Let your field sort what belongs. And if you're feeling the pull to go back into something that once cost you your peace, pause. Ask yourself, is this moving me forward, or is it just familiar? That one question could be the thread that leads you out of the old rhythm and back into your original frequency, the one that never needed to explain itself in the first place. If you've been sensing that your financial world feels a little off, slightly delayed, or strangely foggy despite your best efforts, you're not imagining it. You're simply becoming more aware of how energy truly flows when it comes to abundance. We've been taught to believe that money moves because of hustle or luck, but in reality, it responds to frequency. And right now, Leo, your frequency is being tuned in ways that are asking for more precision and honesty than ever before. This chapter in your journey isn't random. It's a checkpoint. Every small choice you're making, what you say yes to, what you hesitate on, even how you feel when you look at your bank account, is shaping the vibration of what will come next. The universe isn't responding to what you want. It's responding to what you are. And the way you hold your energy around money, even in private, is sending signals far louder than you think. Let's pause here and really talk about something we don't say out loud often enough. Most financial decisions aren't logical. They're emotional. That impulse purchase? It wasn't about the thing, it was about a feeling. That investment you didn't follow through on? Maybe it wasn't because it didn't make sense, but because you didn't feel safe or worthy at the time. The truth is, we don't spend or save money, we translate our emotional states into transactions. And that's why presence is everything in this season. Because your emotional signal is either amplifying abundance or repeating patterns of scarcity. This doesn't mean you have to fake positivity or pretend you're confident when you're not. It means you have to get honest. Sit with yourself before you spend, before you commit, before you sign. Ask, am I doing this from alignment, or am I soothing something I'm afraid to feel? In astrology, Saturn retrograde in your financial zone is a powerful teacher. It doesn't punish, it recalibrates. It holds up a mirror and says, show me what's sustainable. And Neptune's influence can make everything seem a little dreamy, a little too good to be true. So this is not the week to move fast. It's the week to move clear. You don't need to chase prosperity. You need to remove the static that keeps you from receiving it. That static often comes from fear of lack, fear of being behind, fear that you're not where you should be. But fear is noisy, and money doesn't flow well in noise. Wealth comes through calm, through choice, through an energy field that is coherent and not leaking. So here's the invitation: take your power back from urgency. Don't let your spending habits be dictated by old emotions you've already outgrown. Revisit that budget, but do it from self-respect, not self-judgment. Ask yourself if your financial commitments reflect the future you're building or the past you're still healing from. You're not here to fix anything. You're here to align with what's already yours. And if you're not sure where to begin, start with 3 simple steps. 1. Review every financial offer that crosses your path this week. Don't feel pressured to say yes. 2. Don't buy anything to fill an emotional gap. Sit with the gap instead, it's where the real healing begins. 3. Only purchase from fullness. From clarity. From truth. If something doesn't feel like a vibrational match, it probably isn't. You're not being tested, you're being trusted. Trusted with greater abundance, yes, but also with the awareness that this next level of wealth requires a deeper level of alignment. Your finances are listening. Let them hear the real you. The one who no longer needs to earn worthiness through effort. The one who already knows that stillness is the gateway to overflow. It's funny how life brings certain patterns back around just when you think you've outgrown them. But that's the thing about growth, it's not always about becoming someone new. Sometimes it's about proving to yourself that you've finally stopped being who you used to be. That's what this moment is really about. The return of something familiar, not to destroy your peace, but to show you just how far you've come. When an old story resurfaces, especially in the form of someone or something symbolized by S, your first instinct might be to brace for impact, to assume it's here to shake you, to pull you off track. But what if it's not an attack? What if it's a confirmation? What if this is the soul's way of closing a loop by showing you the echo of something you no longer choose to carry? We often mistake spiritual tests as battles to fight, but the deeper truth is that most tests don't ask for reaction, they ask for stillness. Stillness isn't the absence of response, it's the presence of power. And this time, Leo, you don't need to engage, explain, defend, or even resist. You just need to hold your frequency. Because when you're steady in your truth, anything that doesn't belong can't stay. It may circle for a bit, it may whisper sweetly in a voice you once trusted, but if you're no longer vibrating at that level, it has nowhere to land. This is the final check-in with your past. It comes dressed in something comfortable. It might even stir old feelings that once made you feel seen or safe. But if you sit with those feelings long enough, you'll notice something important: they don't fit anymore. They feel like clothes that once hugged your shape but now hang loose and unfamiliar. That's not regression. That's proof of your evolution. From an energetic perspective, every interaction is an invitation. And when a frequency shows up that used to pull you off center, the question isn't whether it's good or bad. The question is, will you accept the invitation again? Or will you choose the clarity you fought so hard to build? You're not being punished. You're being shown a mirror one last time, not to scare you, but to honor the version of you that used to live in that pattern. This is your chance to look at it without reacting. Without the need to justify why it doesn't fit. Without feeling guilty for how long it did. You're not running from the past. You're recognizing that you've outlived it. Think of this not as a confrontation, but as a homecoming. Not to who you were, but to who you've become. That's the real gift here. And it won't come with a parade. It won't announce itself with lightning. It will arrive as a subtle moment, a choice not to reply to a message, a calm refusal to explain, a decision to stay silent instead of defend. And in those tiny moments, you reclaim the energy you once gave away too easily. So if you're feeling tested right now, don't panic. That test is proof you're in transition. It's not chaos. It's closure. You don't need to do anything other than be still. Let the storm pass. Let the voice fade. Let the echo return to silence. Because anything that needs you to be small, uncertain, or afraid in order to survive, can't survive in your current light. And if you feel this moment in your bones, if something deep inside you knows that the pattern has come full circle, then say it. Speak it into the space around you. Say it below in the comments, or quietly in your heart: I've passed the test. I'm no longer who I was. Because the field hears you. And when you say it, it knows the work is complete. Leo, what if you stopped trying to attract and simply started to radiate? What if you didn't have to chase alignment, but instead became the still point that everything aligned with? That's where you are now. You've stepped out of a season of questioning and into a space of knowing. And that knowing doesn't shout, it hums. It pulses. It speaks through the way you move, the words you choose, the boundaries you honor without needing to explain. You are no longer a seeker of resonance. You are the source. From this moment forward, everything you say, everything you choose, and even the things you walk away from, become part of your signal. That signal is your prayer, your declaration, your vibration. You don't need to constantly clean the space around you. You don't need to fix, please, or convince anyone of your worth. The clarity in your energy does that for you. And that clarity is what turns chaos into order, noise into silence, desire into embodiment. You're not meant to return to who you were. You're meant to expand deeper into who you are. That doesn't require performance. It requires presence. And when your presence is aligned, the universe doesn't hesitate, it organizes itself around you. Not because you're striving, but because you're steady. Take a breath right now and ask yourself, what energy am I broadcasting today? Is it my own, or is it a reaction to someone else's frequency? Is it rooted in who I'm becoming, or in the fear of being misunderstood? The truth is, the more honest you are with yourself, the more honest your field becomes. And when your field is honest, life responds in kind. So I invite you to make a decision today, Leo, not out of urgency, but out of reverence. Choose to hold your frequency even when no one claps for it. Choose to stay steady even when the past knocks gently. Choose to trust that what's meant for you will always recognize you, not because of how loud you are, but because of how true you are. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Your presence in this space means more than you know. Every like, every comment, every share, every subscription, it isn't just an action. It's a reflection of your alignment with something deeper. And from all of us at Eternal Mindfulness, know this: your support keeps this energy moving, reaching those who need it most, reminding them that their light still matters. If this message resonated with something you've been sensing, if it felt like the words were speaking directly to your experience, then keep it to yourself. Share it. Let someone else feel seen too. And in the comments below, take a moment to ground your intention in this space. Write, I am holding my frequency, and only what resonates may enter. Not for validation, but as a signal to yourself. A moment of self-recognition. This isn't just the end of a video. It's the beginning of a deeper broadcast. And you, Leo, are no longer waiting to be understood. You are leading with truth. Stay in your frequency. Stay in your light. And everything meant for you will find its way through that signal without force, without noise, without delay.